Hello everybody. Welcome to Art by Ken. I'm Ken Frazier. I am an artist. Been an artist for about 10 years, mainly oil paintings. I'm here today to instruct you, the beginner, on how to do beautiful oil paintings with simple strokes and easy techniques. And let's get started. Today I'm going to be doing a seascape. Love the island of Kauai. We've been there a couple times, and I'm just motivated today to do a seascape for you. So let's get started. I'm going to just teach you the basics as we go along here. Let me move the camera down so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Hope you can see that good. Anyways, I'm doing this on my iPhone, so this is something that's going to be a test for me. Anyways, we always start our paintings, our oil paintings. I use the Bob Ross techniques. We coat our canvas with a thin coat of liquid white. Here it is, liquid white. Get that at any art store. Load your brush, and we want just a very thin coat on here. So you just put a very, very thin coat of liquid white, because this is a wet-on-wet painting technique. And what that means is we're taking wet paint and we're putting it on wet paint in order to have it blend well and to make our technique work very well. So here we go. This has been pre-coated with a slight coat of liquid white, and we're gonna start today with a cloud scene. We'll probably break it up into segments. I'll do the cloud scene first, or the cloud portion first, and then go on from there. And what I'm doing with the clouds now, I'm using a fan brush. Actually, before we get into the clouds, I am going to put in some sky color. And to do that, we're going to use my palette's down here. I know you can't see it. And that's the other thing about oil painting. The colors aren't as important as you would think they are. Any painting looks good in shades of color. You want to get the basics down, but for the most part, it really doesn't matter what colors of blue you use or whatever. So it's going to be kind of awkward. I'm going to be reaching over here and getting my paint. So I'm kind of blocking that screen, but that's okay. So you get yourself some paint. I'm using very light blue type painting for the sky, and you just start making the little crisscross strokes along the top of the painting, because you want it to be darker at the top and get lighter and lighter and lighter as it goes down to the water's edge, or the horizon line. And I know a lot of painters, they'll tape off their painting where they want their horizon line, tape that part off so they get a nice straight line, and that's cool. You could do that. But for today, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make a nice horizon line that's very misty. I like a misty kind of horizon line, so it's kind of cloudy, kind of misty. And you want your horizon line to be off center. I think it looks better either if it's up higher or down lower. So just so it's not right in the center, because it just kind of cuts that painting in half, and it just doesn't quite look right all the time when you do that. So that, if that's what you like to do, then do that. But that's the thing about oil painting. You really don't have any strict guidelines. I mean, there are basics, and that's what I'm showing you. These crisscross strokes are just basics, but you can do whatever you want in your painting. This is your world right here. This is up to you as to what you want to do with this painting. So I'm going to try and just breeze through this real quick. And so there's your skyline right there. You just want to blend it out. See that liquid white's under there, and as you brush it and brush it and brush it, stroke across, it blends in with the liquid white very nicely and becomes very soft. And so now I'm gonna while I'm at it, I got the brush going. I'm gonna put in the sea color, the color of the water, and I'm using a very like aqua green color. And like I said, you could use more blue down here. You could use a darker color. I mean, there's just many different ways you can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick my horizon line, and I'm going to start off by just basically cutting that right across as straight as you can get it. Now that's the key. And that's why a lot of people tape it off, is because they're looking for that really straight horizon line. But if you're doing a hazy, cloudy kind of a misty line, then it doesn't matter because it'll blend in. And so it's all about light and shadow. So you're trying to make a you want to bring your darks into, so you have a light pattern coming down here where your light's going to be down the middle. So I just take the brush and then take it from the outside and pull it in. Pull in that color to the center, and do the same thing over here. We're just pulling it in. Try to get that light in the middle and then blend. And we'll be adding a lot of highlights and shadows and all kinds of stuff to this water. So this is just for the basics. This is just to get you a base color going, so that when you're done, you've got something that looks like water. And I'm trying to keep it light in this middle as I can, because that's where the light's really hitting in my painting. Is going to be down the middle. Now you can make it come off to the side. This side doesn't matter. Like I said, this is your world. It doesn't have to look exactly like this. You can do whatever you want to this painting. So let me just clean that line off. Put my brush down, and before I go any further, I'm just going to do a little. I got a blending brush. That was a 2-inch brush, just a regular Bob Ross 2-inch brush. This is a blending brush. It's got real soft bristles, and I use this a lot in my paintings. I use it to just kind of make colors flow together better. I use it a lot, and I especially, we're going to use it in our clouds, you'll see. But see how that's just a real soft horizon line. And that's all you need to get started for that. Now we're going to do some clouds, and this is one of my favorite parts, is doing clouds. I use just titanium white in the cloud. And there's many different ways to do clouds. This is just one technique I'm going to show you. I've got a big fan brush here. Fan brushes for me work the best. You can use flat brushes, you can use round brushes, you could use all kinds of brushes too. I'm just choosing to use the fan brush today. And so I'm going to come down here and grab some white. Grab me a bunch of white here. And load that brush up really well with the white. I'm going to even need more than that, but we're gonna layer these clouds. So don't worry about how much how it looks in the beginning, because we're gonna do a lot of layering in this painting. And so you just start scrubbing. It's kind of like this up and down scrubbing motion. I don't know if you can see that. It goes like that, and you want to just break it up, turn the brush over, use that scrubbing motion, and just kind of play with it. Let that brush just play in that canvas. Let it dig right in. And like I said, this is our first layer, and you can see how our clouds are just right away taking form and shape. And remember, and I just let you know that the more you brush it, the more it's going to blend with that background. And so, but I end up using my blender brush anyways. And just start doing circular motions, down at the bases. We're trying to keep these highlighted parts up here nice and bright, or as bright as we can. So we're taking the brush and we're just very, very lightly, gently, just doing circular motions to just blend in the bottoms of the cloud so that it's got a very soft look to it. And then I come back and I'll come up and I'll hit just a little bit of the top, because I'm going to go over this again with some white. I'm creating layers. I want layers of cloud to kind of look very fluffy and soft. And so you just use these real light. You learn to just really, just barely touch the canvas with the brush. And you just kind of look around and see what you got. See where it needs a little bit more. And you know, keeping in mind you want those bright areas bright. Okay, so you got some basics going there, but like I said, I'm going to continue layering on here. And you can do this for as long as you want. I mean, you can keep going. You could use all kinds of different strokes and techniques, but I hope I'm not blocking here. But see, now you're not so much scrubbing as you are just trying to create a little bit of highlight on some of these clouds. And once these are all blended, that's going to look very realistic look to it. And but don't worry about clouds. Clouds are, you know, they can do whatever they want. I mean, there is no perfect way to make clouds. I mean, they do their own thing. So if whatever they look like in your painting, that's exactly what they're supposed to look like in your painting. There are no rights and wrongs really in your world. This is basically your world. So no one can dictate. Now I try and be realistic. I want my paintings to look realistic so people can understand what they are. But it's not so much where it's got to be. See how the clouds are beginning to just take that shape, and then you come back in again with your blender, and you blend in some more because you're trying to make. I'm watching my time here. I'm going to try and keep these segments to about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. But like I said, you can take as long as you want on these clouds. It's your world. It's totally up to you. I will probably stop the camera and, well, yeah, and then I'll continue on making some highlights and stuff. And then we'll come back and we'll start the next segment and we'll start in on our water. So that's it for now. This is part 1 of the seascape video. Just look for part 2 and we'll continue on.